Hello and welcome to the Career Booster podcast. Today I am having a special guest, Ellen, who is a burnout and talent coach. And today we're going to talk about the TalentScan and what it can do for you in your career. Hi, Ellen.
Hello.
Nice that you're here today. So exciting.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So I just wanted to ask if you can maybe just introduce yourself to my audience, who you are, what you do.
Sure. Yeah, like you said, I'm Ellen. I'm a burnout and talent coach. And actually, it's my mission to get people back to who they really are, because I believe that a lot of people have lost themselves due to things that are expected from them by society or, so I think a lot of people have so much more to offer, but they kind of lost themselves, and that makes them feel burned out. Their energy level is low. And I would like to give them back their life energy. So that's a very brief thing about me.
Yeah, I think it's really important what you do, and really, really interesting. And great that you can help so many women around the world.
Definitely.
So I'll just introduce myself to your audience, to whoever is listening to the podcast. So I'm a career coach, and I help busy, ambitious women who are feeling really trapped in their job. They are unhappy in their job and they just really feel stuck, but they don't know how to get out of it. They know they want something else, but they have no clue what. And they're just scared. Their fears and self-doubt and limiting beliefs are really just getting in their way of just going on a new career path or starting their own business. Maybe secretly they're dreaming of something like this, but yeah, there's a lot of things are stopping them. And especially also, the opinions of other people, like their parents and their friends and colleagues. They're scared that what if I fail? What are other people going to think, or what this or that? And therefore they don't take any action. And I think the main thing is really that they just don't dare to get out of their comfort zone. So, and I think the reason why, well, one of the reasons, because there's a lot of reasons why I started this company, but one big reason was really through my own unhappiness in my career. I was also just feeling so stuck in my career, not knowing what to do. And I went through a whole process and I took different steps to find my dream business. And now I help other women all over the world to also find their dream career or business by using these steps. And one of the steps, well, the first step we actually take is doing the TalentScan together, which is, such an incredible tool. And also that's actually how Ellen and I know each other, because we both did the TalentScan training. And I think we both thought it was just so phenomenal what you can do with the scan. And we've, of course, have also done the scan ourselves. We'll talk a bit about that later. But I actually want to ask you now, how did you start your own business? How did you find out that you wanted to do this? And how did you take that step to start?
Yeah, that's a pretty long journey, actually, because I felt really insecure in the beginning, because you feel like you don't give the quality you have to give, or you have to know more than you do at that moment. And so I actually focused too much on keeping reading books, watching webinars, or following courses. And actually, I just found out that it's all a mindfuck, because you know so much already. And if you have find your purpose, then you just have to be yourself and to pass on your message, to give people the strength to get to know themselves. So it has taken a while, because I was, like you said, also scared to follow my heart, to feel like, okay, I might have to quit my daily job. It's not something you do that easily, because it gives you some certainty. How did I start and how did I feel about it? It was pretty exciting in both a good and a bad way, because you don't dare to take a step. You don't dare to show yourself, or at least I didn't dare. And it takes a few steps to get there, So I think when you start working your limiting beliefs, then that's the first step to get over it, and to start believing that you have to offer something. And now at this point, I feel like, okay, I'm ready to show myself. I can also post now on Instagram. I can show myself. Like usually I did some posts on Instagram with, just sentences or text or inspirational movies. But now I start showing myself. So it's been a rough ride. It's not always easy, but in the end, I think it's about starting to believe in yourself, to dare to take the step, to ask for help, to believe that you have everything you need to do what you're here for. So, yeah.
And I actually didn't mention this before to you, but I'm actually quite curious because did your burnout, did that also do something, cause something for you to want to change in your life? That you're like,
Yes.
okay, this is not the way I want to live my life anymore. Because I think a lot of women are in a burnout that might not even know that they are in one, because they think it's normal just to be busy all the time and that's all this to do. Sometimes people thrive, or they think it's like they wear it as a badge, like, how are you? Oh, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy.
Yeah. And so tired. And, you get home from work and you don't have the energy to do anything anymore. You don't have the energy to see your friends or whatever. So I think that's not a good thing. And like you said, yes, my burnout has a role in it because I have been there. I've been really low. It's been a rough ride, but it has also taught me a lot of lessons. And one of the lessons is that I have to stick with my intuition and that I have to follow my heart and let the energy flow where it's actually supposed to be. I was taught to go to school, to do your education, to get your degree, get a job that gives you some financial independence. But in the end, of course, it's important. But if it's not where your heart is, then you lose yourself. And I feel like I'm pretty lucky that I had it in my early 30s, because that means that I have a whole life in front of me, I hope, where I can live fully. So it has been a mind shift for me into my burnout, for sure.
I find it very interesting what you say about that you should really listen to your intuition, because your intuition has all the answers, and instead of listening to your head, listen to your body, because your head is really just trying to keep you safe. It would rather want you to be safe and unhappy in your comfort zone than insecure or happy out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of women probably find it very difficult to know whether it's an intuition or to be able to trust their intuition. Or do you have any tips for women listening how they can connect to their intuition?
I think it's a matter of taking time to start learning to listen to it, because we are actually trained by society and by ourselves and by our environment to keep up with the society and what they expect from us. But you always have that feeling in your belly, right? If someone walks into the room and you're like, oh, I don't know, I feel like I have to keep distance, but we usually don't do anything with it because that's not what society expects from us. So that's the gut feeling. That's your intuition speaking to you that that's just not right. And we have taught to not listen to it because that's not what society wants. So that's just an example to recognize yourself. What is my intuition telling me? And what can I do with it? And you always have a choice what you do with it. A lot of people don't take a choice. They just go with the flow and what they expect from each other. But I don't think that makes you happy. And I don't think that brings you to yourself. So there's so much more to get out of yourself once you start listening to your intuition. So it's just a gut feeling. You just know in a split second whether it's right or not.
Yeah, I think it also really has to do with like feelings. Yeah, like you said, you either feel butterflies in your stomach, or you feel like, oh, tight and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think in our modern society, we're always busy. We're always running around. Like I said, people wear it as a badge, like, oh, I'm just busy. Whenever you ask people, how are you? Yeah, busy. It's just a normal thing to say. And, we don't really take time. Also, a lot of women that I speak to, when I ask, what is your self-care routine like, or how do you take care of yourself? Then they kind of look at me with big eyes. Well, I don't really have time for that. I'm working, and after work, I'm busy with the kids. because a lot of my clients are moms. So, and if you don't even have time for yourself, then how are you going to have time to even feel what's right or what's wrong with you? So I also always advise my clients, go for a walk in nature, go do maybe yoga or meditation, or just try get out of your body, get out of your mind into your body. Also like going for like a jog or taking a long shower, but just not planning. Also, if you're feeling uncomfortable, you're not happy in your job, then what a lot of people do also, they escape in the weekend. So they fill up their whole agenda, they go do all these social things. But if you're doing that, then you're never going to have the time to figure out some of this stuff. So you have an empty agenda.
Yeah, for sure. What you say, you have to do some meditation that will work for you, or yoga, or go outside, or do something that clears your mind. And, you have to just quiet your mind a little bit, because that's just always running on, because that's what we've been taught. But it's so important that you take time for yourself to really check into your body as well. What do I feel? I don't know if you know the body scan, but once you lay in bed during the night, then you can do the body scan. So how does my right foot feel? How does my right ankle feel? And so you go up with your body, and the left side as well. And then you might feel where you have some tension or where you don't feel comfortable. And once you start noticing it, you have to make sure that you will relax a little bit. And then your energy starts flowing and you get back to yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what I really like about the Calm app. It's just 10 minutes a day. You can do it in the morning or in the evening. Yeah. But you don't have to sit and meditate for hours, but just start somewhere.
Yeah. So, especially in the beginning, you just take it slow, just step by step. Because when you start meditating, you're like 5 minutes. That's a long time, right? And your thoughts go everywhere. And that's normal, because that's how you're trained. But just start easy with 1 or 2 minutes, and then you can build it up.
Yeah, exactly. They say something, if you don't have time to meditate for 5 minutes, then you have to meditate for half an hour or something.
Exactly. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
But I'm also curious, how did you come into, because I want to talk about the TalentScan. How did you come into contact with the TalentScan?
Actually, it's because I have my salary employment job, and we had a big transition last year. So we were actually trying to make the change from function related to talent orientated. So that's why we started thinking, okay, how do we want to get people into their power, into their strength? And so we ran into the Me Scan or the TalentScan, which is the same. At first we were a little bit skeptic, because you're like, how can it show your unconscious mind? And what does it tell me? How can it tell me something when I have to pick some pictures? What does it say? Because in regular tests, you just see text and you pick it by your rational mind. So, but in the end, we all did it. And there was just so much that fell into place. I always thought that I would be analytic, because that's what I do. But in the end, it turned out that I actually lost a lot of energy doing analysis, and that I am 100% intuitive, which I actually knew, but I never dared to trust on, because they expected me to show me the numbers, for instance. So in the end, we got really happy with it. And so me and a colleague, we started doing the training to get the Me Master. And now I'm also applying it into my own business.
Yeah, great. And what do you think makes the TalentScan so different to normal personality tests? Because I know people probably listening to the podcast are like, there's so many personality tests out there. How do I know which one is the best or the right one for me to choose?
I know. I think it also depends on the question that you have. But if you want to get really by yourself, then this test, the TalentScan, it's not a test, it's a scan. And it shows you your unconscious mind, because you have to pick some pictures. They are standing for archetypes. When whereas you don't know what it exactly means. So it's pure on your intuition that you pick those pictures. And in order to do so, you have to get back to your feeling. It says something to you, you feel attracted to it or not at all. And so that's your unconscious mind. Whereas other tests are actually purely rational, because you have to pick some lines that you feel they suit you. But that implies everything that you have been taught to do, to learn, to become. And that's not truly who you are. That's who you are actually made of, you know?
And also a big thing is that your conscious mind, it wants to be accepted and liked.
Exactly. Yeah.
And fit in. We want to fit in, and it also has to do with our reptilian brain, you know, and I think our brain is like 40,000 years old or something, but like it's still there. We still have that brain that wants to survive. So if we're not part of the group, then we will die, you know. We need to belong. So we need to adapt. We act in a certain way. If our parents have told us don't act like that, then we don't do that anymore. Then we hide that part of ourselves.
Yeah.
If our teachers has told us things, if friends didn't accept us because of certain things, why do you think, you know, also groups of friends, they all dress the same and wear the same, and you know, it's like, or how people behave in companies. It's people do things just to be accepted and be liked and fit in. But just because you and then you also become this certain person, you might obtain certain tasks that you think that you became good at, but doesn't actually give you energy. But then your boss is like, yeah, you're so good at that. Or your parents are telling you, yeah. And then you're like, you know, I'm getting recognition for this. Oh, so yeah, so I'm really good at this. And you keep on doing that. But actually it's draining your energy. Actually, this is not something you really should be doing. And that's what I also found so fascinating about.
Yeah, definitely. Because it gives you, you know, when other people tell you you're doing a good job, then it gives you energy for only a short period of time. But when you do something that really suits you and that you do because of your own norms and values, then it gives you energy all the time. And you don't even have to ask for it because it's all in yourself. So that is so important to know and to realize. And I hope that so many more people will find out who they truly are. And I think the TalentScan is a beautiful tool to use for that.
And why do you think it's so important for us to know who we really are?
Because I think that only then you can have a life that makes you really happy, that you will live your life full of energy, and by who you truly are. Because I believe that everyone has his own talent and everyone is here for a reason. But once you go with the group, then you won't improve, you know, who you are. You will just go with the flow and everybody is kind of the same. But you are here for a reason. And I believe that if you dare to listen to it, even though it might not suit the group or it might not suit society, you have something to bring. And you know what you stand for. And if you dare to speak about it, to talk about it, then you will attract people who are feeling attracted to it. So then you get in a bigger group that really suits your energy level, your intuition. And I think that will make each other stronger.
Yeah, I think it's the same, you know, sometimes we feel like we're like the black sheep out or something, or we don't belong. And that's just because we haven't found our tribe. And the reason why we haven't found our tribe is because we're pretending to be someone else that we're not. So therefore, we're attracting different people or situations in our lives that are not even right for us. But once we truly become who we are and take off all the masks and all the layers and just really be in that space of who you should be, of who you were actually all along, then you're going to attract a lot of different kinds of people also in your life. And in the end, you're going to be so much happier as well.
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
only that, but also do something that makes you happy in life and that gives you energy, and use your talents that you were born with, that you should be using.
And the thing is that when you go to primary school already, then you don't get the time to keep up with your talents. You know, you have to go into what they want to teach you. You have to sit on a chair for the whole day. While actually kids until 12 are actually in need of having to move a lot. They have to walk around, they have to play, they have to have interaction. And so there's not so much talent-orientated lessons on primary school already, but also not later on. So until your 7th year, you are very intuitive. But once you have to go into the line with society, then you start losing it a little bit, because you don't listen anymore to what you need, but you listen to what they expect from you.
Yeah, and then we all feel lost.
Yeah.
And then we have to try found ourselves
again. And I think that's the reason why so many people are actually in need of doing a competency test or a personality test, because they have lost who they are. But when we fix it already in the beginning, in childhood, then I think a lot of people won't need those tests anymore later on. So I hope that in the future, there might be more space for talent-oriented lessons at school.
That would be really amazing for my 2 daughters. I would love that if yeah. And was there anything else that was surprising for you that came out of the TalentScan?
It was, well, like I said, the analyzing me. Now I realize that it drains my energy, and indeed that I already feel something is right or not, or we are on the right track or not. But I have to trust more in my intuition, which I'm doing so right now. But also that gives you something to learn again, because you've kind of lost it. You know, in history, I tried to keep up with what people expected from me, and I've lost my intuition, like the instance that I just told so. But yeah, and there's a lot of potential that I haven't used yet, which I have to keep up with. And the test shows me, okay, which potential do you have and how can you get there? So I think there's a lot more to get out of it than I have at this point, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's same, like, yeah, I'm just thinking now. So for me, what I thought was really interesting is I've also my whole life, well, my whole working life, pretty much really been like a chameleon, really always very worried about the opinions of others, always wanted to be liked, accepted, fit in. I've always been like, I remember one of my managers told me, said I was like a Labrador, you know, like always just happy to see people and trying to please everyone, make everybody happy. And honestly, like, one of my quotes was that everybody around me is happy, I'm happy. And I'm really trying to learn to be more independent and trust on myself, instead of like wondering what other people think of it, you know. Like I remember I had like 2 job opportunities, and I'd call my friends and be like, oh, which job would you take? And, you know, because I just didn't dare to make a decision for myself. And I always thought that I was like a really good team player, because I just wanted to belong to the group and be accepted and liked. And I was always nice to everyone and doing everything for everyone and making everybody comfortable. And the test actually showed me that I'm actually not such a team player. And I thought that was just so interesting, because it's actually so true. Because, you know, during lunch breaks, everybody was like all like together and stuff. And I was like, I need to get out of here. And I would go sit by myself on a bench eating my sandwich. And like, now that I have my own company and that I can work by myself, I'm like, oh, this is so freeing, that I don't have team meetings. I don't have to discuss with other people what we're going to do. And there's a difference. Like, don't get me wrong, I love working with people. Like, I love coaching people and teaching my clients things, but not working in a team with someone. That's the difference. And also, like, my leadership skills, I did a lot of personalities before, and it always came out like leadership, but I've always been like at the bottom, really, never taken the role. And that is so nice that now I can explore that, and I can see that I'm very much of a guiding leader, like showing the way and explaining and teaching and letting someone else grow into the person that they were meant to be. And that's just, really beautiful. And also what really came out is just the entrepreneurship, like being able to have a vision and put something build something from scratch and not giving up. It was really it was really fascinating, all the things that came out. And
it's funny because
also
we have kind of the same profile. I remember
it's similar, yeah. And what also really came out, that fear, that wanting to be liked and accepted and fit in, and that would really like sort of block my development, because just too worried about what the opinions of others and stuff.
Yeah.
So
And
it's really nice to know these things.
If you pick the team player, but it's not actually your nature, then it means often of the time that you are actually wanting to be part of the group. And it's not so that you would like to work with people, like you said. It's just that you want to be part of it. You want to be accepted. And I have the same thing as you. Like, I chose it, but I do not really feel like I'm a team player because I'm a visionary as well. I know where I want to go, and I would love to share it with the people, and I would love to get people into their strengths. So that's the leader in me. But it doesn't mean that I'm a team player. So I think that's a big difference, and that shows the TalentScan.
Yes. So I'll just say, because you said you chose it. So for the listeners, so basically you choose which talents you think suit you, but then the TalentScan really shows you what actually drains your energy. So you might think you're really good at something, but actually it doesn't suit you. That's just so, it's really eye-opening, because when you start thinking like, hey, wait a minute, it's actually, really true.
Yeah, and also it doesn't have to be a bad thing if you chose it, but it doesn't naturally suit you, because you are probably pretty good at it because you had to, and you got, people thank you for it. So it does suit you in that way. But just be aware that if you have a bad day or you are under pressure, then that might become just one of your weaknesses, because it does not naturally suit you.
Exactly. And that's also what's nice about the test. It doesn't say now doesn't suit you, so you cannot ever do that again.
Exactly.
No, but rather look at what your natural talents are and see how can you expand those and develop those.
So you don't need that anymore, what you have taught
yourself. Yeah.
Do
you have any last other piece of advice for people listening, women who are listening right now, who's saying, I'm just really feeling stuck in my job. I'm not happy. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want instead. What could you tell them?
A lot. But I think I'll just spill it out. I think the most important one is that you always have a choice. And, if you feel stuck in your job, but you decide to stay there, then that is a choice. So probably there's something that keeps you there, whether it's safety or financial independency or whatever it is, it keeps you there. So in order to change, you have to take the first steps yourself, and that's a choice. So I think it's really important to know that it all starts with you. And once you start to change, then your environment starts to change with you. I think that's one of the most important things I would like to tell them. And also, my mom sent me a picture once years ago, and it's still in my mind because I really love the picture itself, but also the text that was on it. And it actually says, to remember who you are, you have to forget who you were told to be. So I'm like, yeah, that's definitely true, because that's actually the TalentScan in a nutshell, right? So I think that really suits to just spill it out here.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful quote. I also think, it has also a lot to do with working on your mindset. I think a lot of women, they just see, like what you said, they see obstacles on the road.
Yeah.
They think, I've got financial security now, I need to pay the mortgage. I'm too old now. I don't want to study again. But these days, limiting beliefs. Yes, it's just limiting beliefs, because if you really want something, you'll find a way. You'll find the finances, and you can start small. They take small steps. You'll find the finances to do the course. There's so many courses these days you can do online next to your job. You don't have to quit your job, you can do it next to your job. There's so many options, but if you are really just seeing the obstacles, you cannot see past that and see the possibilities. But once you start working on your mindset and not focusing on the obstacles and actually starting to dream big and think of you should first dream big and see, okay, if I had all the time, all the money, all the skills in the world, what would I do? And then once you have that, then you have a goal, and then you can work towards that goal despite all the limiting beliefs, and you'll find your way.
Yeah. So Alan Watts also has a movie on YouTube, and I think it's called What If Money Were No Object? And if you ask that question to people, then they start dreaming, and they start actually finally saying out loud what they really want, you know, but they don't dare because money is a problem, time is a problem, or their environment doesn't accept it, or whatever. So what you say is totally true. And I think if you would die tomorrow and you would ask yourself, did I live my life fully? Or did I actually try my best to make most out of it? And the answer is no, then I think there's a reason to start changing it.
I said a quote yesterday, now I forgot what the quote was, but it was something about people on their deathbed, that one of the biggest regrets was, it actually wasn't a quote, it was just like they asked the people on their deathbed, and that was that they didn't go for their dreams, that they were listening too much to the opinions of others, and therefore they didn't do what they actually really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
I know, and that's what I say, right? You regret the things you didn't do the most.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ellen, for being here today. I really enjoyed talking to you. I think we can actually talk for hours and hours more about this topic, because it's just so fascinating. Yeah, and I hope that the listeners, that you feel inspired now to make a change. And if you're unhappy in your job, know that you can do something about it. You don't have to stay stuck in this situation. You know, you can get help. Yeah, you can create a life that you actually enjoy living and that gives you energy. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
just one step at a time.
And I think that's the first step, that you start believing that, and then the rest will come.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ellen. And
thank you too.
I want to thank all the listeners for listening, and till next time.